This is the EWN Podcast Network.
Welcome to Late Boomers, our podcast guide to creating your third act with style, power, and impact. Hi, I'm Kathy Worthington.
And I'm Mary Elkins. Join us as we bring you conversations with successful entrepreneurs, entertainers, and people with vision who are making a difference in the world.
Everyone has a story, and we'll take you along for the ride on each interview, recounting the journey our guests have taken to get where they are, inspiring you to create your own path to success. Let's get started. Hello, I'm Kathy Worthington. Welcome to our latest episode of Late Boomers. Today, our guest is Amanda Sharratt, COO and financial advisor for Whitaker Myers Wealth Managers, where she works with clients to design investment portfolios to meet their individual needs.
And I'm Mary Elkins. Before joining Whitaker Myers Wealth Managers, Amanda was a financial coach, and she helped clients achieve their goals with money, including saving more, spending smarter, paying off debt, and feeling more comfortable and confident with money management. We're looking forward to hearing some of her tips for all of us today. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Great. Tell us about your educational background and how you chose this career.
Yeah, thank you. I actually went to school for dental. I was going to be a dental hygienist and then actually worked in the field as a dental assistant. So I didn't go to school to be a financial advisor. It was more of a personal experience for me. My husband and I took a class that his mom sent us to, and we paid off $141,000 of debt in 3.5 years, and it just changed our lives. I mean, just we were on fire saying everybody needs to know about this. And so we led the class at our church, and I just kept having a passion to help people with this. So I had my own business as a financial coach. And then I became a financial advisor, and I've been with Whitaker Myers my whole time of being a financial advisor. And then I moved into the COO role in 2022.
Oh,
Excellent.
what is the best way to pay off that debt?
Yeah, I mean, really, when we first took the class, we were like, this probably works for people that make more money than we did or have less debt than we did or that sort of thing. And then we said, why don't we just put these tools into practice that we learned? And we did everything that we learned in
Tell
the
us
class,
what was
including
that, Amanda? What was that
yeah.
class though that you took?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
What was
we
that
took
class?
Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University class. So at that time it was a 13-week class, and now it's 9 weeks. And we still, our company loves Dave Ramsey and his team, and we follow his advice and help clients do the same because a lot of us have personal experiences that we know it works. And so we put all of his, if you're familiar with him, he's got baby steps and, really practical tips to pay off your debt so that you can save and invest for your future and your family. And so we did the things that he said, like budgeting and making sure every dollar had a name. And we sold everything we could think of, to get extra money. We didn't eat out. We just really got intense and threw every extra dollar that we could at that debt and paid it off in 3.5 years. And then we're able to start paying cash for things, of course, and saving for our future and investing for retirement. And so we just felt the lift that comes from when you're in that much debt, it can feel very overwhelming. And so when you get that paid off and you don't have those payments anymore, it is so refreshing. And so that is why I was and still am on fire to let everybody know that, like, there is a better way to live than being buried in debt like that.
So, and you found the best way for you was budget, being very close to the budget. And you said give every dollar a name. What does that mean?
Yeah. So what I did and what we tell clients to do is really put their income at the top of the page and then list out everything that you're going to spend money on. And sometimes people feel like that's really restrictive, and I'm a spender. So I'll tell you, I don't think it's restrictive. I think it's freeing, even if you are a spender, because you put in there the things, the fun money or the coffee or those things that are important to you, but they just need to be in the budget, and give yourself that boundary of what you can spend on it. And then that when you go to buy those things or do those things, that you can do it and you can enjoy it because it was in the budget, and it's not wrecking the rest of your plans. You're still able to pay towards debt. You're still able to save whatever it is that your goal is. And so that's what we mean by give every dollar a name, is just, be intentional with where you're spending it ahead of time.
It sounds almost like a game you're playing with yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I mean, we really do. We really did make it into a game. And I tell people to do that if they're paying off debt, is like, if you can go under your grocery budget, then go get an ice cream or go get a coffee or whatever, if you kind of cut that out of your budget. But that's kind of a game to, where can you save money to be able to put it towards other things?
I wanted to ask you what you recommend to
Great.
clients regarding budgeting. How do you tell them to budget?
As far as how to budget,
How do you, yeah, what do you recommend to your clients about that?
I really tell them to not get hung up on how to budget as much, or a particular tool to use, as much as what will work for their lifestyle. Like, what will they do? If they want to be pen and paper, fine. If they need an app, fine. If they want an Excel sheet, great. But really just kind of see what works for them. The key is not really the tool that you use, just that you use it. And so that's why I say make it really easy and fit into your lifestyle. And also the other key is making sure that you're not only budgeting, but you're tracking your transactions. So what I found a lot when I first started budgeting, or when I first started helping clients, was I would create this perfect budget that would say I'd have this much money to send toward my debt. And then if I just left that over there and forgot about it all month and did my own thing, well, that didn't do me any good. I had a good plan, but I didn't execute on it. And so it's really about tracking those transactions and making sure that you are sticking to the budget. And if you're not, adjusting throughout the month. So we do, all of our clients get access to, our new clients get access to Ramsey Plus, which is a service that Dave Ramsey offers. And it has a budgeting tool in there that links to your bank account. So it makes it really easy to budget. So we like that. But again, we're not hung up on that if that is not what works for somebody's lifestyle. We just say, do something that you're going to do consistently.
Hmm.
And what about the
Interesting.
motivational
Well,
aspects of that? The motivational, how do you get people motivated enough to make the budget and stick to it? There's a psychological factor at play there.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And what we tell them is to make sure that they are giving themselves grace throughout the process, because when you're starting to budget, if you've never budgeted before, chances are you have no idea what you're spending on groceries, right? I didn't. I just threw a number in there that I was making up because I'm like, I don't know. I'm not paying attention to it that closely. So it's going to take you some time to get comfortable with it. And then the other thing is, I would say, is have some accountability. So anytime you're doing something new, be it working out or any other goal, it's really good if you have somebody that you're going to achieve this with and you can hold each other accountable. So for some people, that's their spouse. For some people, that's their friends or their small group. And then for other people, we have a financial coach, just like I used to be, we have one on our team, and she is their accountability partner. And now they're paying her. So it's even more accountability that, like, I'm paying for this. I want to make sure I'm doing what she tells me. But so just knowing your
Wow,
personality and what it takes to achieve the goal, I think, is key.
hmm,
that's
that's really
fabulous.
interesting. I think we could all
Yeah,
use
yeah.
that. Um, what are some of the unique ways that you tell clients on how to save money in their everyday lives?
Yeah, I think just looking at everything that you're spending money on and saying, is there a cheaper way, or am I paying for duplicates of this? So everything is subscription based right now. So what we're seeing with clients is
Mhm.
they have all of these subscriptions, and either they're not using everything that's included in the subscription, and so they're paying for another service that does that, or they have, every TV streaming service out there, and it's like, do they really need it, or did they just sign up for that one show and then they forgot to cancel it? So that is really
Yeah.
just, there are services you can use that look at your subscriptions. Um, and so we say you do that, but really you can achieve that by looking at your bank statement and saying, what are these subscriptions that I'm paying for and do I need it? And one that I give a lot is Audible. I love audiobooks, but instead of paying the $16 every month, we just sign up when we want to get an audiobook and then we cancel it. And so you can do that. You don't have to pay for it ongoing and buy a book if you don't want to or don't need it. So those are the things I say is just look at where you're spending money where it might feel like it's only 5, 10, 20, $50, but that adds up. And if you're not needing to spend that money on those things, it could be going towards your debt or your savings or your retirement planning.
Hmm.
I
Good
get that because
advice.
I have all these TV services and that I pay for, and then you don't have time to watch them all. But my favorite movies are
Yeah.
on one service. My favorite shows are on one service. So in between seasons, I'm barely even looking at that network, being Hulu. My favorite shows are on Hulu. But when those shows don't have a new season, I'm not watching Hulu, but I still keep paying for
Yeah.
it. You can't just keep canceling it and putting it back, can you?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Can you
I
put it
Yeah.
back if you
specifically
cancel it?
with Hulu, I haven't done it, but yes, you can with other things. I've always just canceled it and then you can just sign back up. I mean, I don't think they're going to limit you. They don't want to see you go, but they'll be happy to have you back if you come back. So,
That's
and what I've
right.
found a lot of
Yeah.
times is sometimes they'll give you a discount, like because now you're a new client, and so they'll give you a discount for coming back. Audible does that. Now I can't guarantee it, but there'll be times where they'll offer us a free book if we sign back up. So it could actually benefit you in some
Hmm.
cases if you do cancel when you're not using it.
Interesting.
Very
Yeah.
interesting.
Well,
Uh,
what are some
you
ways that, what are some reasons why people might want to update their financial plan and talk about what you consider to be a financial plan?
Yeah, a financial plan to us, we really like to simplify that into it's the answer to am I going to be okay in retirement or with the goals I want to achieve? So at the end of the day, the majority of us are looking towards retirement and wanting to plan for retirement or other goals that we have. And you're maybe putting money towards it, but you don't know if you're really on the right track. If I'm saving 300, 500, $1,000 a month. Okay, great. But what does that mean when I get to the time I want to have that goal happen? So a financial plan is where we really look at what are your goals? What's your income? What's your savings rate? And are you on track to meet your goals? And so we think that
mm,
really there's a lot of reasons why you might want to update your financial plan, but it really comes down to a lot of them revolving around life circumstances. So if you get married, or unfortunately, if you get divorced, if you switch jobs, if your income increases or decreases dramatically, any of those big life changes, you have a kid, any of those big life changes that you have, that's going to impact your spending likely and maybe even your long term goals. And so, those are some reasons why we'd say get a financial plan if you don't have one, but update it if you do have one so that you make sure that even though these things are happening in your life, you're adjusting as necessary to still be able to achieve the goals that you want to achieve.
how often do you think one needs to update their plans?
Yeah, we use the statement around here with clients as far as when they want to review their accounts. You determine it, we deliver it. So everybody's a little bit different on how frequently they want to review their accounts and their financial plan. But we would say annually is at least good, because a lot can happen in a
Oh,
year. And so making sure you meet with your financial advisor and talk through any updates to your financial plan, updates to your life, your beneficiaries, anything like that is good to reconnect at least annually.
Hmm, good
hmm.
advice. You
Yeah.
mentioned retirement. What can one do if they fall behind on retirement savings?
Yeah, we get this question a lot because people will feel kind of guilty or like they have shame because they just haven't been able to save as much as they know that they should have. But we just say we've not really met anybody that can't retire in some way or another, right? So it might be what you thought retirement would look like might look a little bit different if you are behind on saving. Does that mean you're working a little bit longer or even if that's part time for a little bit longer than you had wanted to? Does it mean that maybe you need to ramp up your savings for a little while? There's things that you can do to accommodate for those years that maybe you missed or you were behind. Um, so again, it's just adjusting expectations, I think, is the biggest thing. But a lot of times we
Yeah.
just are so fearful and we don't want like to be embarrassed by showing a financial advisor that, oh, we were behind, we didn't save when we should have. But at least for us, we don't have any, we are not going to put any shame or guilt on you. We just want to help you. And so it is just like, hey, okay, here's where you're at. There's no sense in beating yourself up. Let's just look at how we can make this goal achievable for you.
Good.
It's
I
great.
love it. How can
Yeah.
people help their kids with college if they don't feel like they have any money to save?
And
Yeah,
college is
this
so
is a
expensive these days.
it is.
Mhm.
And this is a big question that we get a lot. And unfortunately, it kind of goes with the question that you just asked about being behind on retirement savings is a lot of times parents want to put off their saving for retirement because they're paying for their kids' college and they feel obligated to do that. And as a parent, I get it. You want to help your kids as much as you can. But the thing that I would say is you are going to retire no matter what. At some point, you're going to be probably forced to one way or another. You're going to have to retire. Your kids, what their college education looks like can vary or can shift. So does that look like they need to take on a lot of the responsibility for paying for it or getting scholarships, um, or do they go to a community college to get their undergrad? So are there ways that you can shift it that way? And I think education just in general is the biggest way that parents can help their kids if they can't help them financially. And even if they can help them financially, they should help them this way of helping them make sure they're making a good decision on a career choice, on the college choice, because so many times people are just taking out student loans for every penny, and then they can't find a job or they can't find a job making what they thought they were going to, and they're really overwhelmed by the student loans. And so we are just big supporters of parents helping the children decide on the college and the career choice and all of that, and being a big part of that, and encouraging them to look
Do
for
you
any and
advise
all
on that at
scholarships.
all? Do you
Yes,
advise on
so
that at all?
yeah, our financial
Mhm.
coach actually offers a service where she can look at, the test scores of your child and their GPA and what schools they're looking to attend, and she can help you with tactics to negotiate, to get better scholarships and all of those different things. So she can really help with that aspect of it. So our financial advisors, they focus on helping you save for college, and then our financial coach can help you save on the cost of college.
Mm. Wow. I didn't know that existed. That's great. All you parents out there, listen in. Also, on kind of a different, not really a different note, but if you have money to save, how do you prioritize that?
Yeah, I think really just looking at, I mentioned Ramsey's baby steps, and we follow those and help clients to follow those. And so I think that that is really a good plan. And so it is really around making sure you have an emergency fund and making sure your consumer debt is paid off. And that's the first three steps, really, is just making sure that you are covered, you have an emergency fund, a cushion between you and life, and that you don't have any consumer debt, which is just basically all of your debt except for your mortgage. And then you start looking at saving for retirement, starting to try to pay off your home early, and planning for your kids' college. So, all throughout those steps, you're also paying cash for everything. So we say prioritize your retirement at that point, and then anything extra should go to the house or the kids' college, and making sure you're saving. We call them sinking funds, and putting money away for if you need those new windows or that new door or that new to you car, so that you can pay cash for those and you don't go back into debt.
Do you have any
Mhm.
advice on the percentage that you need to save?
For retirement, you're asking?
Yeah, well, for retirement, yeah, or just prioritizing everything on
Yeah.
your
So
emergency
we
fund and retirement.
Okay. Yeah, we say for retirement, a general rule of thumb is to save 15%. Now that can vary depending on where you are in your financial journey. So that's why we say doing a financial plan and talking to an advisor is good. But that's kind of the baseline where we start is say do 15% of your income to retirement. And then as far as an emergency fund, it's not so much a percentage of your income, but more a set amount. So we say having 3 to 6 months of your household expenses is a good idea. If it's a one income earner household, you probably want to go closer to 6 months. If you both work outside the home, and no one's commission based or anything like that, you might be okay on the 3 month end. But having that is a really good cushion between you and life if somebody loses their job or something else happens.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are you able to balance your family life with your career, and what are the difficulties you find with that?
Yeah, that is a very good question. I think that is a constant conversation between my husband and I because we both work full time. Um, I work quite a bit, and um, but the thing that I'm really grateful for is I'm able to flex my schedule as I need to, so I can go to the things that are important for my daughter and at her school and that sort of thing. I am not the mom that can
Oh,
volunteer
good.
for everything. I tried to be in the early days of her going to school, and then I just was piled in work, and so I just came to this like I'm not gonna have guilt about it. I just am not that mom. I just can't do that in the season of life that I'm in with my job, and so I attend the things that are really important, and that if she's in a play or a program, I'm there. I don't miss it. Um, and so yeah, and my husband and I really try to balance that. So I'm grateful that I have a really good partner and like when can you take this, or if she's sick, it's really a like we're comparing our calendars, like who has the most going on and who would it hurt the most to be able to cancel their whole day. And so that it's really a conversation that way. So I know that not everyone has that, and I'm grateful that we're able to do that. And then I have family that's really close too, so we depend on my mom and my husband's
Ooh.
mom a lot to help us. And so
Oh, good.
yeah, I know that I am blessed in that way because I don't think we both could have, really full time, demanding jobs without those things. So
Yeah. Well, you're also teaching your daughter some very good worth ethics
thank
for
you.
you.
Mhm.
Yeah, that my husband reminds me that when I say like, oh gosh, am I there enough? Am I? And he's like, she's seeing you work, and this is a good role model for her. So I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Well, Amanda,
Yeah.
what would you like our listeners to have as a takeaway today?
I think the biggest thing that I would like to encourage them is that no matter where they are at in their financial journey, they can achieve the goals that they want to achieve. Again, like we talked about a little bit ago, it might need to look a little bit differently. We might need to alter expectations a little bit, but have hope and know that there is a path forward to achieving those financial goals that you're on track for.
I love that. That's great. We all need a path
Yeah.
forward, don't we?
Yeah.
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 Amanda, thank you so much. Is there anything else that we haven't asked that you'd like to tell our listeners and viewers?
Yeah. The thing that I think I always say when somebody asks me that is I'm also have a really big passion for if you don't have a will or life insurance, make sure you have that. Estate planning is something that is always really near and dear to my heart of like you want to make sure that your family is taken care of if something happens, and we don't want to talk about it because we don't want to think about that, but it is really important to take care of. So I had to throw that in there as well.
Good idea.
Wise advice. Thank you so much. And thank you for being on our podcast. Our guest on Late Boomers today has been Amanda Sharratt, financial advisor for Whitaker Myers Wealth Managers. You can reach her at Sharratt at whitakerwealth.com, and that's ASHARRATT, or look at her website at whitakerwealth.com. Thank you so much.
We're
Thank
grateful
you.
to our listeners, and we want to ask you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Late Boomers Podcast, where you can watch the video version of our podcast. And also, please subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, and please give us a 5-star review. We're on Instagram at I am Kathy Worthington and at I am Mary Elkins and at Late Boomers. So let us know if we have inspired you to take action. Thanks again, Amanda.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Late Boomers, the podcast that is your guide to creating a third act with style, power, and impact. Please visit our website and get in touch with us at lateboomers.biz. If you would like to listen to or download other episodes of Late Boomers, go to ewnpodcastnetwork.com.
This podcast is also available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and most other major podcast sites. We hope you make use of the wisdom you've gained here and that you enjoy a successful third act with your own style, power, and impact.